We stand at the threshold of a new year, 2025, a time to reflect on where we've been, where we are, and where we want to go. In a world that is evolving faster than ever, the question is no longer how do we survive, but in the year ahead, becoming stronger than ever will not simply be a matter of physical strength. It will be about our resilience, our mindset, and the choices we make. First, you must know your purpose. Why do you wake up each morning? Why do you push through each challenge? When you know your why, it gives you the clarity and determination to persevere. This purpose will become the foundation upon which your strength is built. It keeps you grounded and focused when the path gets rough. But purpose alone is not enough. We live in a world that is constantly changing, and to grow stronger, you must embrace a growth mindset. Challenges will come. The world will push back. But the most resilient among us are not those who avoid failure. They are those who learn from it. When you view obstacles as opportunities for learning, every setback becomes a stepping stone to growth. And that makes you stronger. In this journey, remember, you're not alone. Prioritize your relationships. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who challenge you, and who will stand by your side. Strength doesn't exist in isolation. It thrives in community. You are part of a network of people who can help lift you up when you fall and who can celebrate your victories with you. Consistency is key. Don't get discouraged if things don't happen overnight. Focus on consistency over perfection. Strength is built little by little, one day at a time. The small habits you build today will become the pillars of your future success. Keep showing up, even on the tough days. Flexibility and adaptability are also critical. As the world evolves, so must we. Adapt to change. Instead of fearing the unknown, embrace it. The world will shift, but the ones who thrive are those who are able to pivot when necessary and remain open to new ideas and new ways of thinking. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the things that are outside our control. Focus on what you can control: your attitude, your actions, your decisions. These are the things that will ultimately shape your future. Don't waste energy on things beyond your reach. Focus your efforts where they matter most. You cannot be strong if you neglect yourself. Your mind, body, and spirit are your most valuable assets. Take care of yourself, whether it's eating well, exercising, meditating, or simply taking time to rest. Self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessary for building long-term strength. As you face setbacks, and you will, don't view them as failures. Learn from them. Every stumble is a chance to grow, to get better. Strength doesn't mean never falling, it means getting back up every time. Never stop being curious. Stay curious. In 2025, there is so much to learn, so much to explore. Curiosity fuels your ability to innovate, to adapt, and to solve problems. The more you learn, the more capable you become. And the more capable you become, the stronger you are. But let me leave you with this: serve others. When you give of yourself, your time, your skills, your heart, you grow. Serving others brings fulfillment, purpose, and ultimately strength. The act of lifting others up strengthens you in ways you can't even imagine. So as we step into this new year, remember, becoming stronger than ever is not about waiting for the world to change. It's about changing yourself. It's about taking deliberate action every day. It's about believing in your potential, growing from every experience, and lifting up those around you. The strength you seek is already inside you. Now it's time to bring it out. Purpose is the guiding force that fuels everything we do. It's the reason we rise each day, the core motivation behind our actions, and the foundation that keeps us anchored when the world around us feels uncertain. To truly become stronger, we must first connect with our deeper sense of purpose, because it shapes how we approach every challenge and decision. When we are aligned with our purpose, we act with clarity and direction. It's not about merely setting goals or following a plan. It's about understanding why those goals matter and how they contribute to something greater than ourselves. Purpose provides the mental and emotional resilience we need during tough times. Without it, life can feel aimless and we may falter at the first sign of adversity. But when we know why we are doing something, it transforms even the most mundane or difficult tasks into meaningful endeavors. Purpose allows us to navigate through obstacles with unwavering determination, because it anchors us to something beyond the immediate discomfort. It helps us remain focused and reminds us that there is a bigger picture. Purpose gives us clarity in our decision-making. It helps us evaluate opportunities and challenges, ensuring that every choice is aligned with the values that matter most to us. In times of uncertainty, purpose becomes the compass that guides us toward the right path, even when the way forward is unclear. Purpose also acts as a motivator, especially when things don't go as planned. There will inevitably be setbacks, disappointments, and failures along the journey, but purpose provides the strength to continue moving forward. It helps us reframe challenges as part of the process, not as signs of defeat. Each obstacle is viewed through the lens of growth, a stepping stone that takes us one step closer to our ultimate destination. Purpose is not something that can be easily defined or achieved in a single moment. It's a journey. It evolves with us, growing deeper and more refined as we navigate through life. But the pursuit of purpose is itself transformative. It shapes how we relate to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us. It gives us something to stand for, something that empowers us to take meaningful action in everything we do. Purpose is the spark that ignites potential and the anchor that keeps us grounded as we build the strength to face anything that comes our way. A growth mindset is the belief that our abilities and intelligence are not fixed, but can be developed over time through dedication, effort, and a willingness to learn. This perspective changes the way we approach challenges, setbacks, and even success. Rather than seeing failure as a reflection of our limitations, we begin to view it as a natural part of the learning process. We understand that mistakes are not the end, but an essential part of the journey toward improvement. When we adopt a growth mindset, we stop seeing ourselves as limited by our current capabilities. Instead, we recognize that every experience, whether positive or negative, has the potential to teach us something valuable. This shift allows us to approach challenges with curiosity and resilience. It's no longer about avoiding difficulties, it's about embracing them as opportunities to grow. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," we start saying, "I can't do this yet," opening the door to endless possibilities for learning and growth. This mindset impacts not only how we view ourselves, but also how we view others. When we believe that growth is possible for ourselves, we start to believe in the potential for growth in others as well. This fosters a supportive environment where collaboration, feedback, and encouragement are welcomed rather than feared. When setbacks occur, instead of assigning blame or succumbing to frustration, we focus on solutions and seek ways to improve. The idea of failure becomes less about defeat and more about gathering information for the next attempt. A growth mindset requires patience. It asks us to acknowledge that mastery and success are built over time, not overnight. This patience allows us to stay focused even when progress is slow. The key is to understand that the process itself is what shapes us into stronger, more capable individuals. It is not the end result that defines our strength, but the continuous effort to get better each day, learning from both our triumphs and our struggles. Adopting a growth mindset also encourages us to push beyond our comfort zones. It's easy to stick to what we already know, to only engage in tasks or projects where we feel competent. But growth happens when we challenge ourselves, when we push ourselves to try new things and venture into unknown territory. The mindset opens our eyes to the potential for growth in every situation, urging us to step outside our usual boundaries and take risks. Ultimately, a growth mindset transforms the way we approach life. It empowers us to believe that our abilities are malleable and that we can always improve. It teaches us to embrace the journey of learning and development, understanding that there will always be room for growth, no matter how far we've come. It is a mindset that, once adopted, becomes a powerful tool for personal strength and progress. Relationships are the cornerstone of personal growth, resilience, and success. As human beings, we are inherently social creatures, and our connections with others shape who we are and how we navigate the world. No matter how strong or capable we become, we cannot reach our fullest potential without the support, encouragement, and feedback of others. Our relationships are not just about companionship, they are the frameworks through which we learn, evolve, and thrive. Similarly, our relationships are not just about money. When we prioritize relationships, we make a conscious choice to invest time and energy into the people who matter most to us. These are the people who challenge us, inspire us, and hold us accountable. They are the ones who stand by us during tough times, offering both emotional support and practical advice. The strength of these relationships helps us withstand the inevitable hardships that come with life. They serve as reminders that we are not alone and that we have a network of people who care about our well-being and success. But strong relationships are not built solely on proximity or shared experiences. They require effort, trust, and authenticity. When we prioritize relationships, we are willing to show up for others, to listen deeply, and to offer our own support in return. True connections are forged through vulnerability and openness. When we allow others to see us for who we really are, it's through this transparency that we create an environment where trust can flourish, enabling us to rely on each other in times of need. In relationships, we don't just give, we receive as well. The act of being truly present for someone else creates a reciprocal bond where both parties feel valued. It's a two-way street that nurtures growth, both individually and collectively. This mutual exchange of support and understanding allows us to strengthen our emotional resilience and enrich our lives with new perspectives. As we help others overcome their challenges, we also grow and gain insights that shape our own path. When we prioritize relationships, we are also prioritizing our own mental and emotional health. Social isolation can lead to feelings of loneliness, stress, and even depression. Being surrounded by positive, uplifting people provides a buffer against these negative effects. These relationships can help us maintain a sense of belonging and purpose, which is essential for mental well-being. They provide us with the stability and encouragement to face the challenges life throws at us with a sense of confidence and optimism. Relationships are often the source of the opportunities and inspiration that propel us forward. It is through our networks, whether professional or personal, that we discover new ideas, explore different paths, and encounter opportunities we might not have found on our own. The people we connect with can serve as mentors, collaborators, or guides who help us unlock potential we might not have seen within ourselves. Our relationships broaden our horizons, challenge our assumptions, and push us to aim higher. To prioritize relationships means making them a central part of our lives. It means understanding that success is not just about individual achievement, but about how we lift each other up. It's about recognizing that our strength lies not in isolation, but in collaboration. The connections we foster today will be the foundation of the support we need tomorrow. The quality of these relationships will shape the kind of life we lead and the depth of fulfillment we experience along the way. In this process, it's essential to surround ourselves with people who not only support us, but also push us to grow. These are the individuals who offer constructive criticism, who encourage us to step out of our comfort zones, and who believe in our potential even when we don't see it ourselves. These relationships are a mirror through which we can see ourselves more clearly, and they help us become better versions of who we are. They hold us accountable to our highest aspirations and remind us of the power of human connection. The pursuit of perfection is a tempting but ultimately elusive goal. It promises an ideal state, an outcome free from flaws or mistakes, and yet it often leads us down a path of frustration and stagnation. In striving for perfection, we can become paralyzed by the fear of making a mistake or falling short of our own expectations. This fear can prevent us from taking meaningful action or from even starting the journey at all. Instead of focusing on achieving some unattainable level of flawlessness, we must learn to prioritize consistency. Small, regular efforts that lead to steady progress over time. Consistency is the practice of showing up every day, even when conditions aren't perfect, even when we're not sure of the outcome. It's about doing the work, day in and day out, regardless of whether it's easy or difficult, whether we feel motivated or not. What matters is that we keep moving forward, even if it's just a small step at a time. Each consistent action, no matter how small, builds upon the last, gradually leading us toward our goals. In this way, consistency compounds. Over time, the efforts we put in consistently accumulate, resulting in far greater progress than any burst of effort we could muster in a single, perfect attempt. The power of consistency lies in its ability to create momentum. Momentum is what keeps us going when motivation wanes or when setbacks occur. It's the force that drives us forward, even in moments of doubt. As we consistently show up and do the work, we develop habits that become ingrained in our routines. These habits, though they may seem small at first, have the power to shape our actions and thoughts in profound ways. In time, they become second nature, making the process of improvement feel more natural and less daunting. Consistency also allows us to build resilience. When we stop obsessing over perfection, we free ourselves to learn from the inevitable mistakes we make along the way. Failure no longer feels like a setback. It becomes a necessary part of the process of growth. Consistency is about maintaining the discipline to keep going, even when we don't see immediate results or when we face obstacles. It's about trusting that the effort we put in today will pay off in the future, even if we can't see the rewards right away. This trust in the process is what allows us to stay focused and motivated despite challenges. By focusing on consistency, we allow ourselves the space to be imperfect. We acknowledge that there will be days when we don't perform at our best, days when things don't go according to plan. But instead of seeing these moments as failures, we accept them as part of the journey. Perfection demands an unattainable level of control and precision, but consistency invites flexibility. It allows us to learn, adjust, and continue. When we embrace this approach, we open ourselves up to growth, knowing that every effort, no matter how imperfect, brings us closer to our goal. In the pursuit of success, the journey is often far more important than the destination. It's not the end result that defines us, but the discipline we show throughout the process. By committing to consistency, we choose a path of steady improvement, where every day presents an opportunity to learn, adapt, and get better. This mindset shifts the focus from an impossible ideal to the simple, actionable steps that lead to real and lasting growth. When we make consistency our priority, perfection becomes irrelevant. What matters is the progress we make, the lessons we learn, and the person we become in the process. Consistency is the quiet force that drives success over time. It isn't flashy, nor does it promise instant gratification, but it is one of the most reliable ways to make progress, especially when compared to the constant pursuit of perfection. Perfection in many ways is a myth. It creates an illusion that there is a right way, an ideal form of success that can be achieved with just the right conditions. But the truth is, perfection is an unreachable standard that often paralyzes us more than it propels us. It makes us focus so much on the ideal outcome that we neglect the process, the small steps that actually lead to meaningful achievements. When we focus too much on perfection, we become consumed by our own self-judgment. We find ourselves repeatedly tweaking and overanalyzing, trying to get everything just right. And in doing so, we miss opportunities to learn, grow, and improve. The reality is that striving for perfection can halt progress entirely. The fear of making a mistake or not doing something perfectly can prevent us from even starting. We become so overwhelmed by the idea of doing something perfectly that we stop doing anything at all. This is where consistency becomes so crucial. Consistency allows us to make progress without waiting for the perfect moment. It teaches us to keep moving forward, even when things aren't ideal. Each day, each action, regardless of how small, becomes a step closer to where we want to go. The key to growth is not perfection, but the willingness to show up every day, to put in the work and stay committed. And over time, those small, consistent actions compound, gradually leading to meaningful results. The beauty of consistency is that it works quietly behind the scenes. It builds momentum, fosters habits, and solidifies the foundation of success. By being consistent, we set ourselves up for continuous improvement. Each attempt, whether it results in success or failure, contributes to our development. In this journey, we learn to embrace imperfection. When we accept that we don't need to be perfect, we free ourselves to experiment, to take risks, and to grow. We stop waiting for everything to be ideal and begin doing what we can with what we have right now. This is where real progress happens. Not in waiting for the perfect conditions, but in making the best of the present moment. We learn that it's not about making everything flawless, it's about showing up consistently, doing the work, and refining our approach along the way. Mistakes become less daunting because they are viewed as stepping stones rather than failures. Every time we choose consistency over perfection, we choose growth over stagnation. The small actions we take, even on the days when we feel unmotivated or unsure, matter more than we realize. They accumulate into something far greater than any perfect action ever could. Over time, those tiny efforts stack up, creating results that are not only more substantial. It's not about how flawless the outcome is. It's about the consistency we maintain in moving toward our goals, no matter how imperfectly we may go about it. The journey toward any goal is not a linear path to an ideal destination. It's full of twists, turns, setbacks, and missteps. Consistency teaches us to continue through all of this, to keep adjusting, learning, and moving forward. It allows us to develop resilience, to keep going even when things don't look the way we imagined. It's the understanding that perfection is not what propels us forward. It's the consistent effort we make toward progress, no matter how messy or imperfect it may be. In a world that is constantly shifting, the ability to adapt to change has become one of the most crucial skills we can develop. Change is inevitable, and while we may not always have control over when or how it happens, we do have control over how we respond to it. The key to thriving in times of change is not to resist it or try to hold on to the status quo, but to embrace it as an opportunity for growth and reinvention. Change can be uncomfortable, even unsettling, but it is also where innovation, progress, and personal transformation occur. Adapting to change means letting go of the need for certainty and accepting that nothing is permanent. We live in an era where the pace of technological, social, and environmental change is accelerating. What was true yesterday may no longer apply today. The rules are constantly shifting, and the challenges we face are continually evolving. If we cling too tightly to old ways of thinking or doing things, we risk being left behind. Instead, we must cultivate a mindset that allows us to see change not as a threat, but as an opportunity to learn, evolve, and innovate. The first step in adapting to change is to remain open-minded. When faced with a new challenge or shift in circumstances, we often have an instinctive reaction to resist or avoid it. We may feel fear, frustration, or uncertainty because change often requires us to step outside our comfort zones. But the more rigid our mindset, the harder it becomes to adapt. By opening ourselves to new ideas, new methods, and new perspectives, we increase our capacity to adjust and grow. An open mind is a fertile ground where creativity and resilience can flourish. It allows us to see possibilities in situations where others might only see obstacles. To adapt to change, we must also develop flexibility. Flexibility is the ability to pivot when necessary, to adjust our course based on new information or shifting circumstances. It means not being so attached to one outcome or plan that we cannot see the need to change direction. Flexibility is key to maintaining momentum in the face of uncertainty. It helps us stay calm when things don't go as expected and allows us to keep moving forward even when the path is unclear. Rather than being rigid in our plans, we must be willing to bend, shift, and find new ways to reach our goals. Another essential component of adapting to change is the ability to embrace uncertainty. Change often comes with a sense of unpredictability, and it's natural to want to avoid uncertainty because it feels uncomfortable. But in truth, uncertainty is where growth happens. It's in the unknown that we are forced to get creative, to think outside the box, and to discover new solutions. Embracing uncertainty allows us to take risks and to experiment with new ideas that we might have avoided if we had clung to the certainty of the past. The more comfortable we become with uncertainty, the more equipped we are to navigate the ever-changing landscape of life. Adapting to change also involves letting go of the need for control. Change, by its nature, disrupts our sense of control. We can no longer rely on the same routines or assumptions that once made us feel secure. However, the need to control everything often leads to stress and frustration. Instead, we must learn to focus on what we can control, the way we respond, our actions, and our mindset, while accepting that some things are beyond our influence. By releasing our need to control every aspect of our environment, we free ourselves to act with more agility and confidence, knowing that we can adjust as the situation unfolds. Resilience plays a key role in adapting to change. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to recover from challenges, and to remain strong in the face of adversity. Change, especially sudden or unexpected change, can be difficult to navigate, and there will inevitably be moments when we feel overwhelmed. But resilience allows us to face these challenges head-on and to emerge stronger on the other side. It enables us to see failures not as final destinations, but as part of the process of growth. With resilience, we learn to stay focused on the long-term goal, even when short-term circumstances are unfavorable. Adapting to change requires us to develop a deep sense of trust. Trust in ourselves, trust in the process, and trust that things will work out even if they don't unfold as we initially envisioned. The more we adapt, the more we realize that change is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It teaches us new ways of thinking, new ways of solving problems, and new ways of interacting with the world. Every time we adapt, we grow a little stronger, a little more capable, and a little more resilient. In a world full of unpredictability, distractions, and external pressures, One of the most empowering things we can do is focus on what we control. So much of our energy and attention is often diverted toward things beyond our influence, things like the actions of others, the state of the economy, or the outcome of a global event. While these factors undoubtedly affect our lives, expending energy trying to control them only leads to frustration and a sense of helplessness. Instead, true strength comes from recognizing and embracing the aspects of our lives that are within our control and directing our focus toward them. What we can control is how we respond to the world around us. No matter what challenges or obstacles arise, we always have a choice in how we react. We may not be able to control the circumstances, but we can control our mindset, our attitude, and our behavior. When we face adversity, we can choose whether to approach it with optimism or with fear. We can choose whether to view a setback as an opportunity for growth or as a roadblock that stops us in our tracks. By taking ownership of our responses, we regain a sense of agency over our lives, regardless of external conditions. Another aspect of control lies in the habits we develop. Habits shape the way we move through the world, and they have a powerful influence on our success and well-being. Whether it's the way we manage our time, the discipline with which we pursue our goals, or the routines that support our physical and mental health, we have the ability to craft our own habits. Good habits can serve as the foundation for a productive and fulfilling life. When we focus on building habits that align with our values and goals, we take control of our daily actions and, in turn, the trajectory of our future. We can also control the way we manage our resources, our time, our energy, and our focus. Time is one of the most valuable resources we have, and yet it is often spent mindlessly, consumed by distractions and things that don't serve our greater purpose. By learning to prioritize and allocate our time intentionally, we take control of our productivity and our sense of fulfillment. Energy is another vital resource. We can choose where to direct our energy, whether toward people, projects, or pursuits that inspire us or drain us. When we consciously invest our energy in the areas of our life that matter most, we create a positive, reinforcing cycle of motivation and satisfaction. The way we manage our focus is something we control. In today's world, distractions are everywhere, pulling us in countless directions and often diluting our ability to concentrate on what truly matters. We can choose to focus on the things that align with our values, that contribute to our personal growth, and that bring us closer to our goals. By honing our ability to direct our attention, we regain control over our productivity and our sense of purpose. When we focus on the right things, we amplify our efforts, allowing us to make meaningful progress toward our objectives. Another important area where we exercise control is in the relationships we nurture. We cannot control how others behave, but we can control how we show up in our relationships. We can choose to be kind, supportive, and understanding. We can decide to communicate effectively, to listen actively, and to create an environment where trust and respect can thrive. By focusing on the relationships we invest in, we create a strong support network that can help us navigate life's challenges and celebrate its successes. Equally important is the way we take care of ourselves. Our health, well-being, and mental state are within our control to a large extent. While we can't always prevent illness or injury, we can control the choices we make regarding exercise, diet, rest, and self-care. When we prioritize our health, we build a solid foundation that allows us to be more resilient in the face of challenges. We control our ability to recharge, to care for our mental health, and to ensure we have the strength needed to perform at our best in all areas of life. When we focus on what we control, we release the weight of unnecessary stress and anxiety. We stop wasting time on things that we cannot change, and instead we put our energy into areas where we can have a direct impact. This shift in focus allows us to feel more empowered, more purposeful, and more aligned with our goals. It fosters a sense of ownership and responsibility for the life we create, rather than feeling like a passive observer of external forces. Focusing on what we control brings clarity to our actions and helps us move forward with confidence, knowing that while we can't control everything, we can always control how we respond, what we do, and how we show up in the world. In 2025, becoming stronger than ever requires embracing purpose, cultivating a growth mindset, prioritizing relationships, choosing consistency over perfection, adapting to change, and focusing on what we control. By doing so, we empower ourselves to navigate challenges with resilience, foster meaningful connections, and make steady progress toward our goals. Strength isn't about perfection or avoiding difficulty, but about showing up consistently, learning from every experience, and taking control of the areas of our lives that we can shape. With this mindset, we not only adapt to the world around us, but we actively create the life we desire.